What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. So today I didn't take Ayana to school because she had a sore throat and coughing. So I'm here at the doctor's right now, and my son did test positive for strep throat, and so I'm thinking that's what it is. So she is home from school today. We are going into the doctor's right now, and I will let you guys know what's going on, what the doctor ended up saying. Also, I have some things that I want to touch on today, so I'll let you guys know about that. So stay tuned. If you all want to know what's going on with that part, make sure you press that like button, that subscribe button, and comment down below. Turn on your post notifications, and I'll see you in my next clip. Bye. What's up, y'all? We are back in the car, and the doctor said that. So anyway, we went in there, and I told him that my son had strep. Then instead of screening me, they took me to the window, and they told me, all right, I'm going to have you get back in your car and go all the way around the building to the white, what was it? The white canopy. And, so we went over there, and then I had one guy ask me all these questions about what she's allergic to and all this other stuff. And, they wanted to test her for strep inside of the car, which I was like, okay, that's weird. Because they usually, but it was really packed in the doctor's office. So then we went over there, did all that, and they tested her. We were sitting there for like 8 minutes because they were gonna just call me and say if she was negative or positive. But I said, hey, can I just sit here and wait for the results? Because usually it takes like 7 minutes to come back. It wasn't even 7 minutes, and the nurse comes back and says she's already testing positive. Like, it's already like positive. It hasn't even been 7 minutes. So now we are at Walmart waiting for her medication and
getting hand sanitizer.
And then we're gonna go home, and then I'm going to touch up on a certain subject for you guys. It's kind of near and dear to my heart, and I don't know if anybody out there is going through the same thing. And so if you want to know, stay tuned. I will be talking about that later in the video, but just keep watching and you'll find out what I'm talking about. All right, I'll see you when we get home. Bye. What's up, guys? I'm back home now. So I went to go get my son from school, and I called the pharmacy to pick up my daughter's medication. It wasn't ready yet. So we came home to just relax for a little bit until the medication is ready to be picked up. She's doing good. She's relaxing on the couch and trying to heal so we can get better for the holidays. So what I came on to here to tell you was not only how Ayana is doing with her strep throat. I kind of want to just touch base on autism, only because my son has it, and I don't think a lot of people really understand what autism really is and how it affects children or whoever has it. I mean, it affects everybody around them, their family, their their siblings, their mom, dad, everybody. It affects everybody. Autism is very hard for children that cannot speak, and it's hard for them to tell you exactly how they are feeling. It's also hard when you can't, as a parent, you can't understand how the kid or the child is feeling or what they're saying, and so it's hard both ways. I kind of wanted to touch on this subject because I kind of wanted to tell you guys how my son is. He has autism and he's on the spectrum. It's hard. He's gotten a lot better over the years from when he first got diagnosed when he was 16 months old, because he would take a phone and he would take he would put this part into the jack of the phone, and he would just do it repeatedly. And I was like, this isn't right, because he's 16 months old and he's just playing with that. He should be playing with toys and stuff. And no, he was just sitting in his crib just playing with that and this. And he would always find it and I would always hide it. But then he would always do that. And I didn't understand why he's always doing that. So I took him, and he would throw massive fits. So if you're a mom and you have a child with autism, you know that your child throws massive fits because they just can't understand. And it's hard. It's hard to deal with especially when you're young and you have no family support, and it's a whole it's a hard dynamic, and not a lot of people understand what the characteristics are, what autism is, and how hard it is for parents. You just don't really know, because autism affects me as a mom and it affects my husband as a father. Not in a bad way, but it's it's hard, it's difficult to deal with, because sometimes he's a lot better now, but when he was 16 months old, he would hit his head on the ground. And of course I took him to the doctors, and they said, just put your hand on the ground and make sure that you are keeping him safe. So I had to keep him safe. I had to keep his head safe from him knocking his head. But that's the kind of things that children with autism do. They don't know that they're doing it. They're just frustrated. So you kind of gotta, it's a different kind of way to go about parenting. It's hard to have your children that have autism around other children, because they just, the other parents, they don't understand. And I don't expect other parents to understand. I've been going through this since my son was 16 months old, and he is now 8 years old, and he's so much better than he used to be. My advice personally would get him in some type of autistic class where he's with other autistic children. But if your son or daughter is in a class that has, lower functioning autistic children in it, higher, medium, it doesn't matter. They just need that therapy. My advice to you, whoever's watching that needs to hear this, that has an autistic child, that thinks that it won't get better, girl, it's going to get better, I promise. Because my son was really bad with his behavior. Well, not bad. I don't want to say bad, but he was he didn't understand how to express his feelings, and so now he does a lot better. Because, so my advice would be, put your child into an autistic class where they have therapy all day. And it's only like 3 or 4 hours a day. But at the same time, if your child has, autism and they're only on the low or the high side of it, the high spectrum, you don't want them to catch bad behavior. And so, well, not bad behavior, but like maybe things that you don't want him or her doing at home. And so what I would do is I would contact what's that called? Daycare. Contact the daycare. And usually when you have kids at daycare, it's usually not kids that have autism. Maybe it is. I don't know. Because my son, this is what I did. I put my son into a autistic class for 2 to 3 hours in a day. And then he took the bus and he went to a daycare. And that really helped to kind of balance out, like, he had therapy, and then when he got to daycare, he got to actually experience normal living instead of always being inside that room with a whole bunch of autistic children. You also want to, like, expose them to, like, normalcy. And because it's very important that they get the good behaviors for home, and like just things that you want them to learn from kids, good social skills. That's what I'm looking for. So you want them to get like the good social skills in them. And I think putting them in like a daycare is really good because, it's not focused around just autistic children. It is focused around all children, and they all get the same, they all get the same like teaching, and I think it's super important. But my child used to do the headbutting thing, and then he would scream so loud and headbutt if I didn't understand what he was saying. And so I actually had to learn sign language. And that's another good advice that I'm going to give you guys all is my son knew sign language. So like if he wanted more, I taught him more. And if he wanted milk, I taught him milk, because sometimes when there's a like a language barrier or something like that, children with autism, and then you have a parent, and the parent is trying to tell the child something, but the child just doesn't understand. Or maybe vice versa, like the child doesn't understand, or the child is trying to tell the mom or dad something, or the sister or the brother, and the mom just doesn't understand, because with autism, they don't get the concept of, like, I don't know how to explain it, but it's a whole like social thing and a whole understanding thing. And I strongly recommend, if somebody has autism in your family and you have children, like, I strongly recommend just always talking to your child about, being cautious around other children. That, you always have to like stay on top of it. It's hard. There's so much in it that I just can't say it all in one video, because I've been through so much with my son, and we've been to so much therapy and so much, just, there's a lot that goes on. It's like an everyday, all day thing. And, moms and dads that don't have autistic children won't understand why so-and-so did something. They just won't understand, and it's okay, because you just don't, you've never, experienced it. And, it's hard. So if you have a child that isn't giving eye contact, that isn't that is doing things repeatedly, that what else, just weird behavior, like just real repetitive behavior. And they have real they're lacking like how to speak. Like they don't know how to speak to somebody, but instead they'll hit, or instead they'll I don't know how to explain it. They'll hit, or they'll scream, or they'll clap. Like weird, like it's not weird. I'm not saying it's weird, but what I am saying is they have like these different tactics that they do to get your attention. Like my son, like we're in the car, he'll clap. Or he'll talk very, very loud to get our attention. And sometimes he will like not grab, but like he'll try to like smack at my daughter. And when my daughter's 13, she knows that my son has autism. And she knows that it's hard for him to say, hey, I didn't like something. Or why did you do that? He has a hard time communicating with people. And what I was told was by his school that, you know, if we work on this now, if you were to walk in the room and see my child, you would not think he has autism. Like, you can't just look at a child and say they have autism. It's something that is, you have to get it tested. You have to get them tested. And these tests are very, very, you know, long. They're intense. They're 4 or 5 hours long. Sometimes in school, since they don't have that much time with one child, it's stretched out in a whole month. And so it's really, really hard to like get your child tested. But I say, like, you know, it's well worth it, because if you get them tested really, really young, you can get them to the point where when they're in high school, you won't even see that they have autism. Like I said, like, you can't just walk in a room and say, oh, that child has autism. That child has autism. That child has autism. No, you can't do that. Autism is something that you have to be tested for. My son was tested, and the therapist had told me that my son was, when she walked into a room, you just couldn't tell if he had autism. He like literally was like little things that you'd have to be a therapist to tell that Jaden had autism. But she says, you know, as long as we work on that, when he gets in high school, no one's even gonna know. So my advice to you moms and dads out there that have or think that you guys have an autistic child and you're not sure, I would go get them tested. There's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with having an autistic child. They are very smart children. They are hands down the probably smart. I mean, I don't want to say smartest, but they are very, very, very smart. And they say the smartest things you wouldn't even think an 8-year-old would say. Like, I can't even tell you half the stuff that my son says, but my son is, as you know, I have him on my videos, but he is a very high functioning, he is on the spectrum, but he is literally high functioning on the spectrum, and he's doing amazing. Yeah, he has his flaws. Like, he will hit and slap sometimes. He does, you know, get in other kids' bubbles that he shouldn't. Like, their own personal bubbles, and he shouldn't. We know he shouldn't. But he is working on it. The other thing that he does is autistic children, they get, and I've read this a lot, like, they get scared of being in the dark. They get scared of being in a room by themselves, or they get scared easily from something very easily, and then it just sticks with them for a long time. And so that's what we're working on too with my son, is like, he's scared to like he's scared of the dark. and he's scared of like being in one room when we're in another. It's because of his autism. I've talked to his doctors about it, and they said that we just have to keep working with him, little by little, just stepping out of the room little by little, and he'll be okay. But I'm just telling you, you know, if you have a child with autism, if you have, and you don't want to admit it, it is okay. Because I didn't know what to do. I honestly did not know what to do when I was, let's see, 8 years ago, 23, I was 23 years old, and I had to deal with an autistic child that I didn't know who was autistic. I thought it was just bad behavior, and I didn't know what was going on. And so once you know what's going on with your autistic child, things kind of get a little bit easier, because then you kind of learn how to work around what they're going through and stuff. And so like with me and the sign language, he really responded to that, and so we worked with that. And then so, you know, key things is put them in an autistic class with some normalcy with daycare. I'm not a doctor. I'm just a parent that is going through the same thing that everybody else is going through, and that has an autistic child. I'm just telling you what I've done. And so make sure I'm always here to answer your questions. If you want to comment down below and ask me anything, I'm up for it. I am just here to help mamas and dads out there that, you know, have kids with either, you know, autism or a child with heart defect. And, you know, I'm a mama on a budget. Like, that's the truth. That's the whole thing behind my name. I'm a mama on a budget with 2 kids, you know, with disabilities, and it is okay. Like, we can get through this. There's things to do. Like, there's things around how to work around your kids with disabilities. They're smart children. They're beautiful children. And make sure you tell them that, because they don't know. They don't know that they're having this disability that's going on. They just don't. So make sure you hit that like button, that subscribe button, and turn on your post notifications, because I'll be posting a video every single day of Christmas. I'm actually going to work really hard to do this. I have something else coming for you guys. So make sure you stay tuned, and make sure you press that subscribe button, because I ain't going anywhere, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. I'll be right here. And so I'll see you in my next video. Bye.